Hey, what's happening, Warrior Gamers? Welcome to the After Action Report for the Web Warriors versus Criminal Syndicate. And I think the only appropriate word to describe that game that we just played was oof. Like, just big old oof. Oof to 11.
It is a dice game, so I rolled some dice, and I was very happy I rolled some dice.
Did you roll dice?
I did. I saw them. They rolled, and the numbers on them were...
Well, you see, that's the problem. You were looking for numbers.
Yeah, I should have been looking for something different. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm going to practice some rolling at home, and hopefully I can get better.
You know what, though? And I don't know if this swayed it or not. I forgot the shotgun miles.
It probably didn't
Although
matter.
I rolled a whole bunch of wilds.
Yeah, one of them you rolled triple wilds against.
That's
me,
right.
so.
I rolled a whole bunch of wilds, and I got the wild triggers off.
Yeah, the one that knocked out Black Cats, that kind of...
That was trip wild, yeah.
Yeah, there's no chance there. But yeah, no, it was definitely a dice game. I thought I came in with the... I was definitely wire, and I definitely thought I had a lot of good counters. Like, I felt like Rocket was going to be great against Venom, and I could sit over on the one objective over here and fire at him here, so he'd have to come over here and fight Hood. He's not necessarily great at fighting, especially when Hood becomes possessed. You never hit Hood once, and he didn't matter. I guess I should have just tossed him in the middle and hoped that you and him had a scrap.
Honestly, I have no respect for Hood. People like to talk well about Hood. I have no respect for him because I just feel he's so easy to just keep powered down.
Well, and I wasn't worried about him being powered down. I just never had him in a situation where he actually mattered. And I'm like, perfect. Wolverine's over here. This is literally my bread and butter.
You came so close. So close. You came within 2 damage of doing it.
Yeah.
And it's just...
Well, the amount of times I missed rolling a hit on 4 dice. 4 dice is a very small amount of dice, unfortunately. So
it is. I don't like Hood personally. Like I just don't care for him. I don't feel he really does a whole lot. I want to talk quickly about your game plan here.
Sure.
Because here's the thing. I think your game plan was sound. I think you were making the right moves based on the situation, and I think you know what? It's not often I think we say this here. I think the dice really did decide this game.
Yeah, and I'm not necessarily saying your game plan was poor, but I definitely felt like I had lots of setups because you were like, oh, I'm ahead in points. I can kind of like move all my guys over to support each other. I'm like, ooh, Cane Laser time, or even Montesi formulas if I had any left.
I was being very cavalier with a lot of my moves.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you're absolutely right. It's because I was so far ahead with points.
Yeah, you just needed to avoid certain elements, and you're like, well, oh shoot, he might actually get me here. No, it's okay. It's fine.
And that's the thing. Like, there were so many attacks where it's like I was genuinely, legitimately concerned, and then your dice came out and she's like, oh.
Well, and you were
all right.
The one turn where you used Lethal Protector to protect Gwen. I'm like, excellent. My energy attack is getting redirected into a second shot into Venom. I'm going to drop him with this. This is going to... Nope. That's not happening. Now, I had a much higher percentage of 4 attack dice attacks than I normally do, so that probably factored into me not doing as much damage.
I will say, I feel like you lacked a proper scrapper in this particular game.
Well, and in the past, Kingpin normally takes damage, and that gives him power, and then he uses that power to hail to the king, and that does okay.
And that was kind of the funny thing. I wasn't hurting Kingpin. I was trying,
yeah,
but I wasn't hurting him,
it wasn't for lack of effort, and like... Yeah, I was sitting here like, ooh, I can use this stuff to prevent him from getting damaged, and then I was like, actually, I kind of wish I had just let him take damage and gain some power to hurt people. So
yeah, like I have to admit, early on when you were blocking some of that damage, I was saying, I almost would have taken the damage just to get that extra power, right?
Well, and I wanted to, because he was in the middle with Wolverine and Venom, I was thinking he was going to need to be a little bit more robust, because I was really hoping to three guys into Ghost Spider over here, or have Miles and Hood do a throwdown that was going to be kind of slappy, and Hood would just constantly be walking back to the objective.
Yeah, I think you had fair plans in mind here. I was like, a little part of me was actually really rooting for him when you double tapped into Venom with Rocket there. I was really hoping you were going to get the power for a Follow Me.
Now, I will admit, part of my list going into this had the idea that the sword base was cared about how many guys you had on it for how many dice you had to roll. I definitely confused this one with the other objective.
Oh, were you thinking like research station or something like that?
Yeah, and so that was my mistake, because I was definitely thinking how lucky I was going to be, but I was still okay because I'm like, I'll be able to just hand books off to other people. But no.
No, and that's very true. Like, this one was kind of a trick. You weren't really able to leverage Criminal Syndicate's strongest ability in this particular one, and I got the books early on.
Yes,
right.
Now, as important as it looked like the turn that I did, all according to plan, I think I actually should have waited another turn.
Do you think so?
Yeah, because I was thinking about it. He probably would have had having a turn after I dazed one of your characters to double tap them and take them out would have been a much better use of that.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And,
I was looking at my perspective is like, okay, you know, you can all according to plan, kind of get the initiative. But you know what? In hindsight, I think you're raising a very valid point. The most I could have done was go into one of your characters with one of my guys, but then you would have had 3 other characters with a lot of power.
I also made a little error over here where the turn that Cat, Ghost Spider, and Rocket and Bullseye all threw dice at Ghost Spider. It was supposed to be my turn where she was supposed to be marked for death and prevent you from rerolling dice and all those fun things that kind of slow her down. And then
you sat on a card that you didn't use.
Didn't need to, yeah. And it was literally for that situation. And then when you ran away, I was like, this is the perfect face me turn. Except you were just a tiny little bit out from range 4.
I noticed that quite a bit actually. Like it was just there was a lot of really small increments where it was just out. You weren't able to really capitalize on it.
Honestly, I feel like I lost this game entirely because this garbage truck operator parked his vehicle inappropriately, and frankly, I'm now calling the city on this. So.
That's actually really kind of incredible, like how invasive one piece of terrain was in this game.
If it had been like justified right along the objective, it probably would have been fine because it would have given me that extra like half an inch to affect both Miles and Gwen at that point. So
yeah, but it was kind of in that weird position, and I mean, this board setup was one that I just left from a demo game from earlier today.
Yeah.
So I didn't really do any it was set up before we even knew what factions we were playing and all that sort of stuff.
Yep. And I was okay with the board. I'm like, sure, it looks like we have some terrain to throw around if we need to. As it turns out, we didn't need to throw any terrain whatsoever.
We've been throwing less and less the more we play, I've noticed, true. And I don't quite know what's up with that. We discussed it kind of early on off camera, and did you miss Zemo?
I did. I think, like, knowing what I know now, knowing how the books, you can't stack up books. I knew we couldn't stack up books, but the longer the game went on, the more I was trying to be like, okay, Black Cat, don't take this book, wait till later to get this book. CS can hand it off, but that's not that important. Like, I don't have that much power. Black Cat probably should have been Zemo. He's a fast mover. I needed diary rolls, apparently, because I was supposed to do a lot more.
There's a lot of instances where a diary roll, it wouldn't have been big damage for you, but it might have been that extra point of damage, right?
And oftentimes I just needed a couple little chips, or like, if he had hung out with Hood, that might have been another set of attacks.
That could have been the flurries, the rapid fires for you, for sure.
So it was an interesting thing. I let him have the weekend off, and you know how it goes, right?
Yeah, that's what happened. Apparently, you forgot to bring the brain guy.
Yeah, well, and Zemo likes his dancing, so he's probably off enjoying some clubs in Europe right now. But we'll have to get him back to the city to really get back to the criminal organization work.
How'd you feel about Rocket in the matchup? Like, I know his dice kind of failed to do much, but
Rocket felt like the right kind of character for this. Like, especially with shield or sword, sorry. Him being able to be over here and affect the battle going on in the middle was absolutely the kind of character I wanted to have that. In fact, kind of wish I put him over here where Hood was, because that felt like he could have stayed over there the whole game.
Something you could have done over here, because Rocket is size 1. You could have had him behind the car, within range 1, out of line of sight,
and shooting,
because he'd be behind cover. So I would literally have to be on the car or right around to do anything to Rocket, and he could have just been a thorn in my side all game, right?
Yeah, and I was definitely worried about it the other way around, and I was like, he can't put him over there because he won't be able to see over the car. But I'm like, no, it only matters for the other guy.
As long as your target is visible, like it doesn't matter if you're visible or not.
Yeah.
So there's lots of little things. I think this was, as odd as this sounds, because this is, I think, our 50th game together.
Sounds about right.
Sound like that. If you're counting like off-camera games and all that sort of stuff, I think we're around 50 games together at this point. We're still learning little things here and there, right?
Yeah,
and neither of us come to this with competitive edge either, right?
No. We're definitely trying to play a game that's both fun and interesting. Like, we don't normally play the same list over and over again. We're trying to grow our overall knowledge of the game, right? So
as hard as it is for me, I keep looking at the thing going, I want to bring shields.
Okay, so it's Nick Fury and
just like built-in Nick Fury every single list, right?
Okay, I've got Web Warriors. So that team of it's the Wolverine paradox, right? Every single list has
Nick Fury.
He's on every team. It doesn't matter.
I got to find a way to have a team all of Nick Fury's. That's
Before long, man. Before long.
before long. Yeah, exactly. Well, I think we've kind of said all we can really say about this game. It's a dice game.
It's a dice game. It was fun. It was sort of funny to laugh about, but it was fun.
There was some wacky. And here's the interesting thing about it. I had a fair amount of whiffs as well, right?
Yeah.
It's just my dice kind of came through when they needed to.
Yes.
And yours kind of whiffed when you needed them to.
Your
not
dice said that you got to play certain objectives a little bit better.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't flip a single one while you were on them.
No, that's not true. That's not true. I think you did flip one of these to at least once,
Maybe.
but it wasn't enough.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
what it really came down to. So anyway, leave your comments below. Let us know what you like, what you didn't like, all that sort of great stuff. And just to let you guys know, we are going to try start doing at least one competitive style game a month at this point. So if you have requests on what you'd like to see, if you saw a TTS League matchup that you really liked or something like that, sound off, let us know.
Or
And
if you want us to build around a particular character that's interesting in the metagame or something.
Yeah, if you got a theme or something like that. Although if you say Malkith, I will find a way to virtually punch you, as is the custom of the time. But anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed the game. Hopefully you enjoyed our discussion on this one. We will see you next time. Happy wargaming.